Once, at school, in a frankly pretty desperate attempt to get me to pay more attention in lessons, a maths teacher once told me that music and maths are basically the same thing. Now, naturally, I treated this notion with the contempt it deserved, but I am ready to admit there are occasions when knowing what numbers are can be useful, particularly when talking about time signatures. Now, most bands will not challenge you to know any number other than 4, but we are not talking about most bands, we're talking about Radiohead, and we're going to have a look at a few of their songs and how the time signatures they use make them feel the way they do. So it's a little tribute to one of the most imaginative bands ever, and in a way to dear old Mr. whatever his name was. I literally can't remember, and that tells you how much attention I used to pay in maths lessons. Right, let's get going. Now, I should probably preface this by saying there are obviously a lot of Radiohead songs and a lot of time signatures we could talk about, but I've limited myself to just 4 today. But if you all flock to like and subscribe, I may well do a follow-up video if it's called for. So apologies if there's a favourite song of yours that isn't talked about here today. But we'll start off with the song Sulk from the Bends. And here's a bit of fun. You can listen to my slightly half-assed recreation of it on my looper. Have a little tap along. If you don't know already, see if you can figure out what the time signature is. Here we go. Okay, if you didn't know already, that is in 6/8. So we would count that, I'll just turn that down a little bit, we would count that like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Now, it might beg an immediate question, because those maths teachers amongst you might well be aware that 6/8, if you were to simplify that fraction, you could call it 3/4. So why are we describing that as 6/8 and not 3/4? Well, I think it's helpful to think of a time signature not so much as a precise science, but a way of describing what the song feels like to someone who's got to play it. So you could technically count that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. But I don't think that's really a fair representation of the feel of the song. Suddenly that feels very cluttered and awkward, and imagine if that were written out on the stave and someone had to play it who'd not heard it before. You'd get a very short space of information in one bar. So it makes far more sense to consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. A bar, one unit of information as being a little bit longer. And it gives a little bit more of an accurate representation of the feel of the song. Now, it's not a particularly complicated time signature. It's the one other than 4/4 that most bands will have a bit of a crack at some point. And anyone who's ever heard House of the Rising Sun will not find that particularly bamboozling. If there was a particular influence on Radiohead using the time signature, whether consciously, deliberately or not, I think it's fair to say it would be Jeff Buckley, who they were big fans of at the time. And if you have a listen to his album Grace, the 6/8 time signature is very well represented. There's Lover You Should Have Come Over, Hallelujah, and the song Grace. I know he didn't write one of those, but still shows how keen he was on the time signature. And it has a very light, graceful kind of a feel to it as a time signature. Very popular in folk music as well. And it gives a sort of a bit of a serious spin on a song for a band who don't want to sound like they're just writing headbanging stuff. And Radiohead have been very, very fond of this time signature. You can hear it on Nice Dream, Subterranean, Homesick Alien and Nude, among several others. So, bit of a favourite. So yeah, 6/8. Okay, next up we have Lucky. So see what you make of this. Let it go round again. So, did you spot it? It's a little bit cheeky on my part because it is 4/4, but there are some rogue bars of 2/4 towards the end of each cycle. Allow me to demonstrate. I'll just turn that down a bit. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not a massively jarring effect. A lot of people might listen to it and not even particularly notice it's there. But it is a really effective way of keeping the rhythmic interest up by just extending that melodic line. It can make us feel like we're landing back on the root chord a little bit earlier or perhaps a little bit later, depending on your perspective, than you might have expected. And it might seem like the act of pure zaniness that you might find in Radiohead and nowhere else, but actually this is a particularly common one. You can hear it at the end of the chorus going into the instrumental in Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House, in the chorus of Hey Ya by Outkast, in the pre-chorus to The Man Who Sold the World by David Bowie, and Radiohead themselves use it elsewhere on Bones as well. So yeah, a really nice way of keeping a bit of rhythmic interest in your song. A little extra bar of 2/4. Right, next up we have 2 + 2 = 5, which goes sort of like this. So we're definitely getting deliberately weirder now. What we've got going on there is 7/4, like so. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very unusual. The most obvious reference point within the canon of rock music is going to be Money by Pink Floyd, but I hardly think that's kind of what they were going for there. Although, interestingly, this song does segue into a rocky 4/4 section, rather like Money by Pink Floyd. But I think more fundamentally than that, they're just trying to express a very surreal kind of atmosphere, which that very off-kilter time signature does really, really well. Reflects the nature of the lyrics, of course, where it describes willingly living in a kind of unreality. So it gives a very kind of haunting, nightmarish quality that reinforces that very nicely. When you're practicing 7/4, some people do find it useful to effectively split the bar up and imagine that you've got alternating bars of 4 and 3. To make it a little bit digestible. So it feels like 4/4 but with a beat missing. So something like this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3. Like so. You may find that useful if you need to practice something in 7/4. And lastly for today we have 15 step, which goes a little like this. So this is the one rock musicians really seem to dread. This is 5/4, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Certainly not unheard of. Chances are you have heard the Mission Impossible theme tune or Take 5 by Dave Brubeck. Very famous, very well-liked examples in 5/4. But it is odd. There's no getting around that, really. It makes for a very awkward kind of rhythmic feel a lot of the time. The bar feels like it's just a little bit too long. It's not a time signature that feels natural to most people, so it lends itself to some quite deliberately awkward rhythmic patterns. So within rock and pop music, it is pretty rare. There is a song on the first Gorillaz album called, funnily enough, 5/4, whose very title implies how unusual it is, and maybe even suggests that the writing of it was a self-conscious experimentation rather than something that came about naturally, or I can't say that for sure, obviously. Funnily enough, I do have a video on writing riffs in 5/4. I would heartily recommend you check it out. But yeah, nice example if you want to sound a little bit off-kilter. So there we go, a few examples of some rhythmic fun within Radiohead songs. Really hope there was some stuff of interest there to you. Please let me know, what are some other songs I should have included, or other songs by other artists that use strange time signatures. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you with something else very soon. Cheers.